They help or hamper free trade. Our Fox panel back now to discuss. Peter Schiff, I'll let you start with this one. The free trade issue is very crucial, but you've got a lot of parents in the States who say, give me toys that don't have lead paint on them. Can we have both?
Well, sure. You know, I don't believe that that's the government's responsibility more than it is the free market. But, you know, talk about biting the hand that feeds you here. I think the politicians are going to make some noise because it's good politics, but they're not going to do anything. Unfortunately, the free market is. As the dollar collapses, Americans are simply going to be too poor to buy all these imported products. We're going to get priced out of the market, and all these wealthier people who are seeing their purchasing power rise every day, they're going to be snapping up these products. You know, he talked about seafood. We import 90% of our seafood. Imagine how expensive fresh fish or shellfish or lobsters are going to be in a couple of years. Americans simply not going to be able to afford these items.
Victoria Barrett, we welcome you to our daily show. Victoria Barrett from Forbes. I saw her pretty face in there. Where is Victoria? Victoria,
I'm
you
over
there?
here.
There you are. Good to see you. What about Peter's point? I mean, it's hard for most Americans to imagine being priced out of products that you get for free at McDonald's from China. I mean, you know,
and I don't think that's really going to happen. The fact is, China needs the U.S. economy to make its products, to sell its products. They really have succeeded on the back of our consumers. And look, we clearly have a problem with product safety. I'm frankly amazed that we haven't had more issues, given that we are getting 90% of our seafood and lots of other products from abroad. The issue here really is that the FDA has a very historically American focus, right? And the world has gone global. We're getting everything from abroad, and now they need to shift their focus. But my concern here is that prices will rise because the FDA will make it impossible for companies to efficiently get products from abroad. But that's the danger here.
But Charles Payne, don't you think in many ways that if we have these offices already in place to protect the consumer, that somehow they have to get in there and figure it out?
Absolutely. I mean, this one to me is a no-brainer. The fact of the matter is that because no one really has been minding the stores why this has been happening. You know, I agree with Peter in that, you know, the sense that actually this will help free trade because we have greater confidence in the products that we're buying that are coming in. So I think this is wonderful. I can't even understand why there would be any opposition from anybody. If there's one thing you could agree on Capitol Hill, how about making the products that we're importing safer for Americans?
Well, if there's one thing you could expect on Capitol Hill, it's everybody blaming everybody else. Ms. Nord was on saying Congress didn't allocate the money. Then the Congresswoman was on saying that she was firing too many inspectors. So but
at this point, let's get beyond the blame game and let's correct the problem.
The bottom line is that China itself doesn't want to live with all the danger. Right? They don't want to see their workers dropping dead of lead poisoning, so they're cleaning up their own act. Can we help them to do it a little more quickly? That's the question.
This has been an absolute debacle for China because the problem is not government. The problem is the consumer going now and looking at a toy and seeing, is it made in China? Because I don't know that I have confidence that that toy is safe for my child. Or picking up a bag of pet food and saying, I don't know if I have confidence if that pet food has ingredients coming from China. So I think China and the United States are aligned on this. I think the key here is finding some balance between creating a reasonable system for product safety and without making the cost so onerous that you drive the price up inordinately.
There's one important point that was brought up that we got to address. China doesn't need the American consumer because the American consumer can't pay for the product.
Peter, you're out of your mind. Are you kidding me? What are you saying?
Let me finish. Look,
that's why China pegged their currency to the U.S. dollar, because they need the U.S.
Let Peter finish his point. I'm not sure I heard him. Go ahead, Peter.
They no more need us than Wall Street needed subprime borrowers to lend all this money to. The problem is they can't pay it back. We don't have the productivity to pay back the Chinese for all the products they're sending us.
Victoria?
They have a big inflation problem in China right now because they're trying to prop up our currency, but they're going to give that up.
Okay,
I think
Peter,
over the
hold
next...
on one second. Go ahead, Victoria.
We are their most valued customer. Don't think for a second that they don't need us. That's an absurd notion.
We're not. We're not their most valued customer. We're not paying. You know, when the Chinese let their currency rise, I think over the next 5 to 10 years, you can see the value of the Chinese currency go up 400 to 500% against ours. And
we
when
have
that
a great
happens,
relationship with China. They need us and we need them right now.
We
now.
need
Hold
them.
on, Peter. Let
They
her
don't
finish
need
her
us at
point.
all.
Go ahead, Victoria.
They need us and we need them right now. They are making money off of the American consumer.
No, they're not.
Walmart is one of their largest customers. Think about it. If Walmart were to go away tomorrow, the Chinese economy would take a huge hit. There's no doubt about that.
No, they wouldn't. Look, you remember in the dot-coms, remember all the vendor financing when Lucent and Norcell and Cisco were loaning all kinds of money to dot-coms to buy their equipment? When the dot-coms went broke, they had to write down all those sales. China is vendor financing the United States. That we're loading them up with bad debt. We can't pay. China is wasting their resources, and as soon as they figure that out, they're going to pull the plug on the pay.
And last word here, Charles. And when you bring this up, you talk about the free market. If those toys continue to be we can't depend on them, whether they've got the lead. Isn't this the free market at work, and people start buying made in the USA toys?
Absolutely, absolutely. Not only that, though, people who make toys in the U.S. can sell them overseas to all those rich people that Peter is talking about. So guess what? It works both ways. It's a